Yes, guys, you know what time it is. It's your boy David at the Irish Hotspur, Ireland's #1 Spurs fan, bringing you another preview for the North London Derby with Chris Cowlin, and we're going to hear his thoughts and hear hopefully some of his memories of the North London Derby. But first and foremost, how are you keeping, Chris?
Very good, David. Delighted to be on. Thanks for asking. And yeah, really looking forward to this game Sunday afternoon. Let's hope that Tottenham can get the 3 points, because after today's results, if Tottenham win our 2 games in hand, we are going to be in the top 4. And that is what we need to believe and aim for now. And, just to get into that Champions League place.
Yeah, 100%. Look, tomorrow, there's so much riding on the game for us. But there was so much riding on the last North London Derby for us, and we dealt with that pressure well and came out and won. So hopefully we can do the same with this one. But Chris, we played, when we went into that last North London Derby, we were playing a 4-3-3. It was very defensive, and it worked that day. We now play a different way. We played a 4-2-3-1. But what way would you play going into this North London Derby?
Well, that's Jose Mourinho's job. I know we've spoken about this before, David, and it's all about the players available. Tottenham have got all of the players available apart from Giovanni Lo Celso. We've got a full strength squad at the moment. And, the great thing is that so many of our players are coming into form. Lucas Moura is, playing an exceptional form right now. Gareth Bale, of course, we've got Dele Alli come back as well. Everyone is firing on all cylinders. They all want to be in the starting 11. No better game to be up for than this one. I'm really looking forward to it. We've done the job, as you said, at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium earlier this season. Kane Son, what a goal that was. I was absolutely delighted to be one of the 2,000 fans in the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium when we beat the Gooners earlier on this season. What a night that was. And it really did help us actually having those fans in the stadium. You heard the atmosphere, and the players certainly felt it as well. And, to get that win again at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, which, of course, no Arsenal fans have been in the new stadium yet either.
Yeah.
But when you look back at earlier years in Premier League history, Spurs haven't got a great record away at Arsenal. We only ever won once at Highbury, and we've only ever won once at the Emirates Stadium. And, we now need to put this right, and we now need to, start grinding results out. And like you've put on the bottom of the screen now, this is war. We need to go into this war, believing that we can win. We know that we've got the quality in this squad to be beating Arsenal. They're a mid-table club. That's not being disrespectful to our neighbours, because they are a mid-table club. They're sitting in 10th place. They've had some mediocre results this season so far. Quality difference. I think that Tottenham's quality is so much better than the Arsenal squad right now, and we need to start getting the results in these sorts of games, because it's a huge game for the club, a huge game for Jose Mourinho, a huge game for the players, and as you well know, it's a huge game for all of us. A lot of us wake up very nervous, feeling very different emotions when we wake up, and that watching that game, against Arsenal, whether it's home or away, we all sit there, we're all nervous, we're all biting our nails, but it's a game that we love to watch, and it's a game that we love to get involved with, and hopefully Spurs pick up the 3 points.
Yeah, 100%. Look, it's Mother's Day here tomorrow, and I've already told the mother, look, I love you, but I'm sorry, the North London Derby, it comes first. There's a bit of money, go and spend it, a bit of luxury for yourself, but the North London Derby I'm sorry, I don't make the fixtures, so it is what it is. The North London Derby's on, so basically just enjoy your day. They're basically all going over to my sister's for big family dinner, and I'm the only one not going. But it is what it is. It's North London Derby. But Chris, they tend to say that form goes out the window for a North London Derby. But we are 5 North London Derbys unbeaten if you include the Carabao Cup one. So is that just a myth? Because when I grew up in Arsenal, look, let's face it, let's not beat around the bush, but they were better than us. And, they used to get the upper hands on the North London Derbys. And, form never really went out the window. It never really went out the window. And now that we're better than them, we've a better squad, and we're a better Premier League team. Is it? And you've seen that now that we're five North London Derbys unbeaten. Is that just a myth?
Well, I think that we are going into this North London derby in great form, like you said, because before, the last 5 games or so, 5 games, 5 wins on the trot, 4 clean sheets, very good form going into this game. But before that, we'd lost 5 out of 6 in the Premier League, which most of us, including, both you and I, we spoke before, thought that the top 4 looked very, very bleak. Didn't look like it was going to happen. And now we've got a real opportunity of going into this game, getting the 3 points, winning it, climbing up that league table, going into 5th, and then perhaps the next game going into 4th. But this is a North London derby. These games are very, very different. And what I want to see from every single Tottenham Hotspur player tomorrow on Sunday afternoon is the grit, the determination, and the firepower, the real, willingness to win, and putting those tackles in. I'm one of those fans who loves going to a North London derby and seeing a yellow card, being bandied about, by both teams, because I want to see my players going in for every single 50-50 ball, 100% commitment. And, ultimately, we've got to turn all of this effort into 3 points. And most of all, we've got to believe, we've got a better squad than them. We've got to, perhaps in some way, you've got to say to, some of the players, forget this is Arsenal. This is a team that has lost 11 games in the Premier League. They've won 11, they've lost 11. You never know what you're going to get with Arsenal this season. They've had some fairly decent results, but they've had a lot of very mediocre results. We beat Burnley 4-0. The very next week, they drew 1-1 with Burnley. But, it's only Burnley. It's only Fulham. It's only, any of these clubs when we're beating them. But when the likes of Arsenal and other clubs struggle, it's, it was a very hard game. But We've just got to believe that we can go there. Forget all of what's happened in the past. We've got to go there, believing that we can get those 3 points.
Well, Chris, there's no better man than believing we can go and get 3 points than me. I genuinely can't wait. I do think we are going to rock up there tomorrow. My personal opinion is that when it comes to a North London derby, look, you can have the best players in the world, but it always comes down to who wants it more. The team that shows more passion, more desire, and more fight to win the ball and have the ball and get up the field is the team that usually wins. It's always the best team always wins the North London derby. It's the team that deserves to win it always does win it. So for me, it's a big mentality question for these guys going into this game tomorrow, especially now that it's the business end of the season. It's all good doing it back in November when you have a load of league games after that you can catch up on. But like you said, Chris, we win our next 2 games, we're in top 4. So it's a different question of their mentality now coming into, because top 4 is theirs. It's there for the taking. They're in the business end of the Europa League. They have the Carabao Cup final coming up. So, look, for me, I think it's important that we actually kept Jose through that tough period, especially, this is what I was talking about, for this business end of the season. This end of the season right now is basically what we need Jose for. And honestly, he loves beating Arsenal. He loves beating Arsenal just as much as we do. We talk about passion beating Arsenal. He hates Arsenal.
He's got an incredible record against Arsenal. He really has. And Arteta has lost both games as Arsenal manager against Spurs. He could become the first Arsenal manager to lose 3 on the trot. But Jose Mourinho knows how to wind Arsenal up. He loves playing against them. He often gets very good results against them. Harry Kane is another person that needs to step up in the North London derby, and always does. We've had some glorious moments of Harry Kane in North London derbies. 11 goals in 14 league and cup appearances. And when you've got players like Gareth Bale as well, big time players, big superstars who have been there, done it. He's won all these Champions League medals as well. These are the sorts of players that you need in North London derbies like this, and real stepping up to the plate. Heung-min Son, players like this knows, they know what it means to the fans as well. And I'm sure that we're going to get the result. And I never really feel that confident going into North London derbies, because I think that it's a real 50-50 game. But I do have a lot of confidence going into this game, and I'm really hoping and praying that we can get the 3 points, because not only do we like to beat our North London rivals, but we desperately need another win in the Premier League.
Yeah, 100%. I fully agree with you. And like you were saying, look, Harry Kane's the all-time leading goal scorer in North London derbies. He's more than what Thierry Henry did. The goal where I actually shared it on my Twitter today. where you know, he cut in from the side and he just swung it into the top corner. The way he just bent it like Beckham. It was absolutely unbelievable. It was a great goal. Chris, I have a couple more questions for you as well, but I have a couple of super chats here first I need to get through. We have Wayne Bonner. He says, "Why don't Arsenal get suntans? Because they're always in our shadow." Absolutely love that, Wayne. Big yourself up. Thank you so much for the super chat. And Gary Paul Speed says, "Chris Cowlin, my dad Paul Speed, match day security, Tottenham, says hello, hope you're well. He's recovering from prostate cancer." David, come on, you Spurs. First of all, I wish him all the best in his recovery. I hope he pulls through. With a last name like Speed, I have no doubt he is going to pull through. So big yourself up. Thank you so much, Gary, for the super chat.
David, if I could just say, Paul is an absolutely top bloke, and Paul used to do a lot of the tours around White Hart Lane, and that's the first time that I met Paul at Tottenham. And you know, he always goes to a lot of the away games, and you know, works at the stadium. And yeah, real top guy. So Gary, thank you very much for your comment, and you know, wish your dad very well and all the best.
Fair play, Chris. Great words, and also I hope Tottenham do it for him tomorrow as well. I really do. Great. Thanks very much for the super chat. Back to the game, Chris. So look, there's a lot of talk about who should start in the number 10 between Lamela for his tenacious play, the way Arsenal are really disciplined and stuff like that. Maybe he could capitalise on that. But then there's also talk for Lucas Moura to start for his pressing game, because you've seen Arsenal over the last few weeks, the keepers passing out balls to players where they shouldn't be receiving it, and teams are scoring off it. And Lucas has been very good at that. It's shown in the game against Burnley and Palace when he played. We were on the front foot. We ended up scoring 4 goals in each game. When he didn't play against Fulham, we only won 1-0, and that intensity wasn't there because we allowed Fulham to play out the back, play it down the wings, and deliver it into the box every time. So who would you start in that number 10 tomorrow, Chris?
I personally would start Lucas Moura, and I've got to say actually that Eric Lamela for me has probably had the best month in a Tottenham shirt since he signed for us back in 2013. He has been exceptional, and you know, I've loved seeing this side of Eric Lamela's game. David, if you don't mind, if we could go through the predicted starting 11 and see if you agree with me.
100%. Let's go.
Yeah. So obviously Hugo Lloris in goal, and then I've gone with a back four of Sergio Reguilon at left back.
Yeah.
Then I've gone with Sergio Aurier at right back, and then I've gone with Davinson Sanchez and Toby Alderweireld in the middle. Fully
agree. I was arguing that case earlier on today myself. A lot of people were thinking Doherty. Do I think that Mourinho has a soft spot for Doherty? I do. You know, and look, he has improved, but for me, my problem with Doherty starting, Chris, is that it usually takes him 15, 20 minutes to warm up into a game. And in a North London derby, you can't do that. Your first touch has to be spot on. It has to be. So I fully agree that Aurier plays, and I fully agree you keep going with Alderweireld and Sanchez until it goes wrong. 100% agree.
In that Dynamo Zagreb game, I felt that Sergio Aurier, the amount of crosses he put in that game, we need that in the North London derby. And you know, arguably, I know some people might not agree, but I think that Sergio Aurier is probably our best right back at the club right now, and he has certainly improved since Jose Mourinho you know, came in November 2019. You know, a lot of mistakes under the management of Mauricio Pochettino, but since Mourinho's come in, I know he's had a mistake here or there, but he has been a lot better and, you know, a lot more improved under Mourinho. The midfield, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg and Tanguy Ndombele.
Yeah, 100%. I fully agree with you. Højbjerg, look, that's a no-brainer. And then Ndombele, again, a no-brainer. The physicality in midfield is going to be very hard for them Arsenal players to match that.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I'm going to go for the great four: Lucas Moura, Gareth Bale, Heung-min Son, and Harry Kane.
Exactly what I was thinking. See, Chris, you know what they say, great minds think alike. You know, it's exactly what I was thinking. It's the exact lineup I would have went with. Just on Serge Aurier and his crossing, I've actually been very critical of Serge Aurier's crossing. It's too much of a mixed bag all the time. But I have to say, in Zagreb, every single ball he put into the box was good quality. It was dangerous. You know what I mean? So he has to take praise for that. He's been a player, and I'm glad you've done that, because I was actually going to ask you who would you pick, Serge Aurier or Doherty. So I'm glad we went through that.
Aurier,
Chris, one thing. Sorry, go on.
was going to say Aurier 100%, but do you know what? Although I've chosen this starting 11, I still think, and I still have worries that Jose is going to put Eric Dyer in the back. I don't know why. I've just got a feeling that Jose
wasn't he doing stuff with Sky Sports? Wasn't he doing stuff with Sky Sports or something like that? I think so. I think that is the theory being banded around at the minute, that you might see him. Chris, I don't want him. I know. It was easy. They offered nothing Thursday. Like we could have played centre back together, Chris, and they wouldn't have had a patch on us. Do you know what I mean? They offered nothing going forward. And for me, it'd be suicidal to put Eric Dyer in there tomorrow. I can see why. I can see why he'll do it, because a couple of things. Like one thing in the documentary between Jose and João Sacramento, they were saying Eric Dyer will fight. Now you need that in a North London derby, and that's why I think what you just said there. It's a great shout about Eric Dyer starting, because Mourinho is always looking for that extra edge, and that could be that sort of edge that he needs. And look, Eric Dyer, I have to say, anytime he has played a North London derby, to be fair to the guy, he's turned up.
He's turned up because he knows what it means to the fans, and I think he loves these types of games as well. I think all of us Tottenham fans on paper would prefer Davinson Sanchez and Toby, particularly after the clean sheets that we've had recently in the games that they've played, and they've done fairly well. But I don't know. I don't know why I've got this suspicion and this feeling that Jose will go with Eric Dyer. I hope I'm wrong.
I really wouldn't be surprised. Honestly, I'm telling you, I really wouldn't be surprised. I'll just take Jordan's super chat here. He says, for me, it's got to be Lucas. Helps us to suffocate their defence and his work rate. It is second to none. Lamela will be very important off the bench. That's a great shout, Jordan, I have to say. Look, me and Chris agree with you. Lucas, he has to be in there for the pressing. You have to capitalise on what other teams have capitalised on recently. Arsenal are not a long ball team. Bernd Leno will not kick that ball long. So he's going to keep playing his players into trouble. So I agree with you. We do have to suffocate them, and Lamela would be brilliant off the bench, because there's a couple of things I want to target. But first of all, thank you so much, Jordan Stevens. Everyone else, get your super chats in, get your questions in. Me and Chris would be delighted to take them as well. Another thing I wanted to ask you, Chris, is, look, it's a different Arsenal team compared to the one we played in the last London derby. They have a lot of youngsters in this one now. They've kind of rebranded. They've gone through the academy. They brought in some academy players. Is that something that we can call upon going into this derby? Capitalise on their naivety. They're going to be eager to impress, so they might overstep the mark with an early tackle and get sending off. Is that something we should capitalise on tomorrow?
Well, I think we need to capitalise on the fact that the squad quality is just so different now. It really is, because if you took player for player, like for like, if we done a combined 11, Arsenal and Spurs, I've spoke about this on a couple of videos in the last couple of days, and I can't honestly think of one Arsenal player, without being too biased, being a Spurs fan.
I was only actually speaking about that earlier, Chris. I was actually only speaking about that earlier, and I said the only position that you could potentially put up for grabs is the centre-back spot beside Toby, but even that is a debate.
Exactly right. Yeah. When Dortmund had Aubameyang, I thought that he was a great player, and I thought that Spurs might go in for him at the time. There were lots of talk at the time, but I can't see that Arsenal have the quality, like you said, I think it was between 2000 and 2009. We hadn't beaten Arsenal in a Premier League game. We beat them in 2008 to get to the cup final, which of course we won against Chelsea. But during that period of time in league competition, Arsenal had a very, very decent team, a very, very decent squad, and of course they won all of those trophies as well. This is not the sort of quality that they have now. It is completely different, and as I keep saying, they are a mid-table club. That's not being disrespectful. They have lost 11 games in the Premier League. Their results are mediocre. So we have to capitalise on their squad difference, quality difference at the moment, and the way that they're playing and their inconsistency. We have to capitalise on all of these things.
Yeah, 100%. And this is something I did say about Arsenal a while ago, that when you play with these youngsters, okay, you're going to get an immediate bounce, but your results are going to end up inconsistent. Like, it really wouldn't surprise me if they get smacked tomorrow and they go out to Olympiacos and get knocked out of the Europa League. That's the sort of results you're going to get with these youngsters. Look, we all know they big their youngsters up way more than what they are. But I find it weird that we're coming into a North London derby, and Arsenal fans are telling me that Kieran Tierney, their left back, is their main threat. But what they fail to realise is it's going to be very dangerous for him to advance tomorrow, especially leaving Gareth Bale up there, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Tottenham's attacking power. You know, we've seen it time and time again, the way that Harry Kane and Heung-min Son link up, Gareth Bale coming into action now as well. And of course, you know, someone mentioned on one of the chats there earlier, you know, Eric Lamela coming to fine form. You know, you've got Lucas Moura now. You know, you've got Dele Alli coming off the bench. You know, it's all come good at the right time for Tottenham. You know, you say this business end of the season, you know, going for this top four. A lot of people, including us, thought that top four looked very bleak. We've now got another chance of getting into this top four. You know, we're in the Carabao Cup final in April. And, you know, we're doing very well in the Europa League. So it's all looking good again. You know, a month or so ago, if we were sitting here talking, you know, it was very depressing, losing 5 out of 6 in the Premier League. But, you know, we've now got another chance. It's been a crazy, crazy season in the Premier League. But Tottenham ultimately do have another fantastic chance of finishing in that top four. And we've got to take the opportunity. Yeah,
it's there. It's there. It's within touching distance. It's actually in our own hands now. And this is everything that we've spoken about over them 4 or 5 weeks when things were bad, Chris. Everything we spoke about the players' mentality. Are they good enough? Now is their time to go out and show everybody what they're capable of. Like top four has been a minimum for Tottenham. So in a way, we shouldn't really be sitting here talking, oh, can we make top four? That was a minimum requirement over years gone by. So this squad, they need to make top four as well. It will affect our transfer window if we don't.
Well, it's why Pochettino lost his job, David, ultimately. You know, the board felt that Pochettino weren't going to reach top four. They brought Jose Mourinho in, you know, to win us trophies as well. And, you know, Jose, as we all know, has always won trophies in his first full season at a club. You know, we're in one cup final already. Let's hope that Tottenham can get that one over the line and get our first trophy in 13 years, because let's face it, it's been very, very, you know, it's been too long, far too long. You know, as I say, we're doing well in the Europa League, but a board requirement is to finish in that top four. You know, the hope is still alive. The dream is still alive. You know, Champions League football, you know, when you have a stadium like we do, when you have the training facilities like we do, when you have the players like Harry Kane, Heung-min Son, Gareth Bale, etc., you know, you've got to be playing Champions League football. You really do. You know, they're putting up with playing Europa League football this season, but we have to get back in that Champions League. It's just so important. And as you just said, you know, for transfers, if you're going to attract big name players next season, you know, you must be playing Champions League football.
100%. And not only that, Chris, something I'd be interested to hear your point of view on as well is, if we don't get top four, do you think that Kane and Son might be out of here in the summer?
That's a big worry. It really is a big worry for me. And I've said this many times on my channel, and we've had this conversation, you know, me and you a number of times as well. Will Harry Kane, Heung-min Son leave? You know, I've said it many times that people like Pochettino, people like Jan Vertonghen, Christian Eriksen, you know, all of these good players that have played for us, they've all left without trophies. Hugo Lloris, no trophy, signed for us 2012. Harry Kane, Heung-min Son, you know, Dele Alli, you know, no trophies at Spurs. We've got to deliver trophies. We have to deliver trophies very, very soon. We have to get top four this season, and we have to get a trophy. You know, the Europa League would be the perfect one to win if I was to choose one out of the two. But I'm hoping that we're going to do the business against Manchester City. You know, yes, it's going to be a very hard game. Manchester City have quality throughout the whole of their squad. Fantastic manager as well. But it's a 90-minute game. You never know what's going to happen. And, you know, if you want someone to take you to a cup final and get you over that line, it's Jose Mourinho. So, you know, fingers crossed that we can get a trophy, because we've got to keep players like Heung-min Son and Harry Kane. And to keep them, we've got to be winners. We've got to, you know, get a bit of glory, you know, in our club again.
And this is what I sat there telling many people for weeks. This is what Jose Mourinho does. He comes in, he breeds winners. A lot of people are saying they don't want Jose Mourinho for a rebuild. But one thing Jose can provide is players that, you know are going to be solid players that you can rely on for years, for a couple of years, and build in and around that. What he will do is make your rebuild cost less, basically, in a sense, because of the players that he's going to bring in. You know they're going to be well schooled. They're going to be able to do, first and foremost, do the basics. They're going to be mentally strong, which is what we need. So maybe, Chris, are you glad that we actually stuck through that period and kept Jose Mourinho? Because I know you were on the fence and you were more Jose in, way more Jose in than what I think you were Jose out. But are you glad ultimately we kept him now?
Was I more in or out?
I think you were more in. The reason why I think you were more in, because you had me on and you were loving what I was saying. So I think I persuaded you to be Jose in.
Now, do you know, David, in all the time I've supported Spurs, I have never in my life said that I want a manager out. And I don't think I would either. Yes, I'm very sad when we lose football matches, but I would never, ever say that I want a manager out. Losing those 5 games out of 6 in the Premier League, it's painful to watch. Some of the football under Jose so far has been painful to watch. But ultimately, and I said this when he was appointed, when Pochettino got the sack, I was asked by many people, who do you want as next manager? I said Jose Mourinho for one reason, because we have not had a trophy at the club for so long. And if you need someone to come in and win you a trophy, get you over that line, we've seen it. In Pochettino's first season, who did we face in the League Cup final? Chelsea. Who won the trophy? Jose Mourinho. In the semi-final against Manchester United, who did we lose to when we were 1-0 up through Dele Alli's goal? Jose Mourinho. We've seen it time and time again. So if you want someone to come in and win you a trophy, get you over that line, Jose's your man. Whether we're going to play entertaining, pretty football every week is another thing. But we need trophies at this club. Trophies is probably my most used word on my channel, because, when you're watching your club, you want to see these trophies. And when you see how many times we've come so close to winning them, we just need to get over that line. And, I don't think there's any better man, actually. And you're probably right. I probably was a little bit more Jose in than out, because I can see that he's a winner. He's won every trophy in the land.
Yeah. And, you hear these people saying you can't employ him on his CV, but you go for any job in life. You're employed on your CV. It's the same as a manager. You're not going to bring in a manager that has got 12 teams relegated and say he's your man. You know what I mean? You're obviously going to bring in the best manager and with the best CV and the most proven track record you can bring in. And Jose has provided that. And me personally, I'm just so happy that we've pulled through. But look, we're not out of the woods yet. This could easily go south very, very quickly again. We've seen this with these players. Like, what worries me, Chris, is that with these players, although we've come out of this period, we know they're just capable of falling into a slump again. And it really does worry me. Like, we could win tomorrow. We could beat Zagreb, get the job done, and we can go on another little run. But then come the last few games when you do need that run, these players are just capable of switching it off like that. Does that worry you? Because it worries me.
Of course, there is that. We've seen 2 sides to Tottenham this season, haven't we? At the start of the season, we sat top of the Premier League for 5 weeks. Everything looked great. All of the pundits, some of the fans were talking about Tottenham being real top contenders. A lot of us believing, a lot of us getting carried away, me included. But when your team is top of the Premier League and we're playing some super football, like when battering Southampton 5-2 away, battering Manchester United 6-1 away, and it weren't just scoring the goals. It was the way that we were playing, that pure entertaining football. And then, of course, we've seen the very drab, very poor results, from Tottenham this season as well. So it is 2 sides, but we have to finish. And as you said, it's the business end of the season. We have to finish well now and get that top 4 place. And let's hope that, we can put a trophy in the bank, either it will be in April or May in the Europa League. But it's all about the players coming together now, having the confidence and having the belief, and having the togetherness and going on, this run. Because we've seen, if you lose a few games, you slide down that league table very, very quickly. But other teams around us now, particularly today, the results have gone for us, like you said earlier. And, when they do, you've got to capitalise on that, and you've got to win these games. You have to win these games. So that's why tomorrow's game is absolutely vital.
Yeah, 100%. Speaking of capitalising, look, we've had a lot of opportunities this season, even when we were top of the league, to pull away, really, and have a bit of a shield at the top. And we failed most times this season. So I really do hope that they block that out of their mind tomorrow. Forget about the results that's happened today. Just go in. Once you walk over that white line, just focus. You were in the lion's den. You were in the rival's cauldron. Oh, well, sorry, library. It's so quiet. The actual noise that they're playing now probably does them justice. The Emirates has never sounded so good, like Paddy Power say. But no, honestly, when we get across the line, we're in the lines then. We need to have the bit between our teeth tomorrow. We need to start early. We need to press them. We need to be at it. The first few tackles, they need to be strong. We need to win every breaking ball. We need and our passing and our touches need to be crisp. And that's how you start a derby game. And after that, the rest will take care of itself. But Chris, I know you've had the chance of going to a lot of derby games. Have you any memories you want to share with us?
I'll tell you what, the great memories are when we win. You know, it don't matter. I'll say about the style of football, but in a North London derby, it is all about getting the 3 points. It is all about putting the smiles on those fans' faces. And, you know, the games that I've watched at White Hart Lane where, you know, we've beat Arsenal have been absolutely superb. And it's funny now because when I think of the North London derby, one of the first people I think of is Harry Kane, you know, because the goals that he scored, the incredible goals he scored, and just his face, the facial expressions when Harry Kane scores against our North London rivals, it just says, you know, a million words. And, you know, the absolute delight in his face, you know, celebrating with the crowd. I remember that fantastic goal when he came in and, you know, hit it off the post. And I was telling you this story the other day when I was celebrated with the person in front of me, cuddling them and hugging them. And they said to me, calm down, calm down. There was a very posh person in front of me. But, of course, you can't be calm in a North London derby. No. You know, us fans, we don't know what we're going to do or how we're going to celebrate when we score a goal. Because it's just pure delight. I was very fortunate to be at the Emirates Stadium a couple of years ago when Dele Alli scored that wonder goal as well in the cup. That was a fantastic night. You know, going to the Emirates and winning because we haven't won there, you know, very often at all since they've moved.
I'd say you didn't get out of there too easy.
Oh, do you know what? I smiled all the way back. All the way back. It was absolutely incredible. You know, these are the games that mean everything to the fans. So, you know, for the players to give absolutely everything is absolutely vital. And, you know, we're hanging on to every single tackle, every single pass. You know, we are fixated on that, or will be on the TV screens tomorrow. You know, I love going to these games, but you know, it's very sad that no fans will be there. It will be very quiet in the stadium as it normally is in the Emirates. But yeah, I'm just hoping for a win, David. I'm excited. I feel that we should be winning this game, and you know, really hoping that we do the job.
100%. But look, we're going to end off now there in 1 minute. I'll just take Wayne Bonner's super chat, and then before I let you go, Chris, and enjoy your evening. I want a score prediction off you. I'm not going to let you away that easy. So Wayne Bonner, he says, Kane won't leave in the summer. Son is 50-50. Look, that new contract, it depends on that really, doesn't it? Hopefully he gets a new contract. But one thing I will say is, look, we know Levy loves money. We know Enoch loves money. I do think they will do everything in their power to get Son to sign that contract because of the revenue that he brings with him with that Asian fan base. And you've seen it at match days yourself, Chris. It's an incredible amount. But look, Kane, I'll save that for another day. But Chris, what's your score prediction?
Can I just say that a couple of months back, I spoke to the Italian journalist Fabrizio Romano about the Harry Kane and Heung-min Son contracts, and he very rightly pointed out that both players are extremely happy at Spurs. You know, he actually looked quite surprised when I asked him that question about, you know, do you think that one of them would move in the summer? He said that both of them are very happy at the club. And I mentioned trophies, and he didn't really even seem, you know, worried about the fact that there have been lack of trophies. But both of them are very happy at the club.
Now, there you go, guys. Chris can't bring any better than that, than a bit of an exclusive on Son's contract from the man himself, Fabrizio Romano. Thanks very much for sharing that, Chris. But look, I know you're pumped. I know you're confident. What's your score prediction?
I'm going to go for 3-2 Spurs. The last time and the only time we beat them in the Premier League at the Emirates was a 3-2 win, and I'm going to go for 3-2. I'm hoping for a good game. I'm hoping that Tottenham can get us over that line and get the 3 points, and you know, so we're all smiling tomorrow night. We've got to be
100%. Look, I'm going 4-2 myself. I do think it's going to be a North London derby to remember. I do think their inexperience will show throughout the game. And look, I just hope the lads turn up tomorrow. I really do think they will, especially with a manager like Jose. He's not going to let them go into a game like Arsenal not ready and not waiting to lay the traps for them. But look, guys, thanks very much for tuning in. Thank you so much to the Harris Army for watching. Thank you so much to everybody for the super chats. The memberships are out. Get over, grab yourself a membership. You see all these people with the badges beside their name. I know you're jealous. I know you want one. So make sure you go and get one. A big special thank you for Chris Cowlin coming on. I'm only a little channel. He doesn't have to do this. He's given up his time. He's a busy man, so I really do appreciate it. I know the Harris Army does as well. Chris, do you want to plug your channel quickly before we sign off?
Thank you, David. Pleasure to be on the channel for the first time. I know you've asked me many times, and unfortunately, I've not been able to do it. But glad to come on here for the first time. Thanks very much for your time, and you always get such good feedback when you come on my channel, so you're always welcome.
Thank you so much, and I look forward to being on there again, and I look forward to having you on again. We will be sitting down and doing the Spurs story, so everybody look out for that. But look, we're going to cross the white line tomorrow. We're going to war for 95 minutes, I'm going to say. We're going to war for 95 minutes. People, this team is going to turn up. I have full faith. We're going to smash the Gunners. In Jose we trust. Come on, you Spurs.
Come.